Welcome to Bipolar Talks, a safe and open space to talk about mental health, especially the lived experience of bipolar disorder. Thank you for joining me today. In this episode, I open up about why I choose to share my bipolar journey online. From battling stigma to building a supportive community, this is my honest reflection on how speaking up became a path to healing. Not just for me, but for others too. Before we begin, I invite you to listen mindfully. Be present, open your heart, and let's explore today's topic together. This channel only helps through information. It is recommended to visit an expert if you have a serious problem regarding this mental health. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast so that the message can reach more people who might need it. Part 1. The beginning of a journey I never chose. I never chose to live with bipolar disorder. Like many people, I just knew that something felt different inside me. Something I couldn't explain, something invisible to others, but very real in my day-to-day life. My teenage years were filled with emotional extremes. One day I'd feel like I could conquer the world, full of energy and brilliant ideas. And the next, I'd feel submerged in darkness, worthless, and unable to even breathe. But I stayed silent. Because of stigma, because of fear, because I didn't even fully understand what was happening to me. Part 2. The diagnosis and a storm of emotions. I was diagnosed in my early 20s. I remember sitting in the doctor's office, hearing those words from a psychiatrist. "You have bipolar I disorder." There was relief, finally a name for all this chaos. But also fear. What does this mean for my life? Will this change who I am? For months, I tried to hide my diagnosis. Only close family and maybe one or two friends knew. On social media, I continued presenting my happy self. But behind the scenes, I was falling apart. Part 3. The turning point. When silence became heavy, the silence grew heavier with time. The more I tried to hide my condition, the more I felt disconnected from who I really was. It was like living in two worlds, one that appeared normal and full of smiles, and another filled with sleepless nights, sudden crying spells, and terrifying thoughts. The turning point came after a manic episode nearly cost me my job and relationship. That's when I realized I couldn't live like this anymore. Half hidden, half truthful. Part 4. Choosing to speak up. First, I wrote a short blog post. I simply said, "I live with bipolar disorder, and I'm tired of hiding it." I didn't expect much. Maybe a few friends would read it and move on, but the response was overwhelming. People messaged me. Some said they also live with bipolar but were afraid to talk about it. Others said my post helped them better understand a sibling or partner who struggles with similar issues. For the first time, I didn't feel alone. So I kept writing. Then I started making videos, then podcasts, then sharing on social media. Part 5. Why I keep sharing. The deeper reasons. There are 5 main reasons why I continue to share my bipolar journey online. 1. To normalize conversations about bipolar. The more we talk about bipolar disorder, the less stigma there is. I want people to know that bipolar isn't the end of a life. It's just one part of a person, not the whole story. 2. To educate and offer insight. Many people think bipolar is just about mood swings, but it's so much more than that. By sharing lived experiences, I can show the true nuances. Confusing mania, crushing depression, and everything in between. 3. To give hope to the newly diagnosed. I've been there, lost, scared, and alone. If my content can offer a sliver of hope to someone who's just been diagnosed, then it's all worth it. 4. To build community. There are millions of people out there living with bipolar, but so many of us feel isolated. Through the digital world, we can find each other, support one another, and know that we're not alone. 5. To heal myself through honesty. Each time I tell my story, I feel a little more free. Sharing is not just for others, it's part of my own healing journey too. Part 6. The risks and challenges of sharing. Of course, opening up about mental illness online isn't always easy. I've received hurtful comments, been misunderstood, and even lost professional opportunities. There's always that voice in my head. Am I being too vulnerable? Will this hurt me someday? But every time I doubt myself, I remember the messages. Thank you for sharing. You made me feel less alone. And that's enough. That's what keeps me going. Part 7. What I've learned. Sharing my bipolar journey online has taught me many things. That courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means choosing to move forward despite fear. That honesty can build bridges between hearts. That when I embrace my darkest parts, I also uncover my brightest light. I've also learned the importance of boundaries. I don't have to share everything. I still have a right to privacy, but when I choose to share, I do it with intention, empathy, and mindfulness. Part 8. A message for those who want to share. If you live with bipolar or another mental health condition, and you're thinking about sharing your story, here's some advice from me. 1. Start in a safe space, maybe a private journal, an online forum, or with a close friend. 2. Set your boundaries. Not everything needs to be made public. 3. Make sure you're emotionally ready. Not all responses will be kind. 4. Remind yourself that your story matters, and you get to choose how, when, and where to tell it. Part 9. The world needs more honesty. Mental health is still whispered about in the dark, but we can change that. One story at a time. You don't have to be an influencer, a writer, or a content creator. You just have to be human. Human enough to be honest. Human enough to show up fully. Human enough to say, I'm struggling, but I'm still here. I'm not sharing this story to seek attention. I'm sharing it because I believe in the power of stories to heal. Not just me, but maybe you too, and many others out there. If this touched you in any way, please help me spread the message. Click like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who might need it. One day, someone who feels completely alone might stumble upon this episode and feel just a little stronger. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Bipolar Talks. I hope you listen with presence and an open heart. And I hope you now know you are not alone. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast so our message of mental health awareness can reach even more hearts. Disclaimer. This video content is for informational purposes only. Sorry if there are any mistakes in the explanation and accuracy of the information, and is not a substitute for professional advice. If you're struggling, please consult with a licensed mental health expert. See you in the next episode. Take good care of yourself.